The world is shifting. New alliances, fresh strategies, and bold decisions are emerging on the global stage. At the heart of this change is a question. Is the European Union still the golden ticket for aspiring member nations, or are economic coalitions like BRICS offering something more enticing? One country taking a hard look at this is Serbia, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Imagine trying to join a club for over a decade, only to be met with endless demands, constantly changing rules, and little to no progress. In a nutshell, this is Serbia's relation with the European Union. Serbia submitted its application to become a member of the EU in 2009, and here we are still waiting it over a decade. The situation remains the same. Instead of being led in Serbia, the EU has set even tougher requirements. One of the serious points for Serbia is the condition placed by the EU on normalizing the relations with Kosovo. If you didn't know, Kosovo split from Serbia in 2008, and EU wants Serbia to accept it as a sovereign state. That's a tough pill to swallow for a country with deep historical and cultural ties to the region. It feels less like a partnership and more like a list of ultimatums. Currently, they have opened 23 out of the 35 chapters of negotiations in order to become an EU member. Despite these efforts, there's no clear timeline for when or if Serbia will become an EU member. Because of this, many Serbs are growing impatient and are slowly losing faith. The Kosovo conflict remains a sore point for many, along with NATO's bombing of Belgrade in 1999, and the general perception of the West having double standards. And this in turn has made them look for alternatives. Enter BRICS, which comprises Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Unlike the European Union, BRICS does not seek to rewrite a country's national narrative. Instead, it focuses on economic growth, mutual benefit, and resource sharing. BRICS is expanding rapidly. Just recently, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Ethiopia, Egypt, Argentina, and UAE were invited to join. Their goal? Reshape the balance of global power. Alexander Vulin, the Deputy Prime Minister, said recently what seems to be on the mind of many Serbians: the criteria set by EU is not just difficult, it is impossible. BRICS, on the other hand, is a proper replacement. What does the bloc offer? Access to immense natural resources, increasing economic clout, and the ability to engage with major powers in the world without compromising their own control. BRICS countries together make up around 40% of the world's population and considerable output as well. Nations like Serbia that look to balance the East and the West stand to gain from a BRICS membership as an alternative to the EU and NATO regimes. Serbia is not alone in rethinking its options. Turkey, which has been at the EU's door for decades, now is actively looking into joining BRICS. Turkey has also been in the waiting game for several years, trying to get into the EU. But now, they are smart enough to see that they have better options. Turkey's possible inclusion to BRICS is one of the most significant developments in the world. As a bridge between the East and West, Europe and Asia, and the Middle East, the advantages that Turkey offers are a strategic asset. Its transportation routes are critical, and its geopolitical contribution is even higher. For BRICS, it would be a huge achievement to add Turkey. For Serbia, seeing another frustrated EU candidate pivot to BRICS could be the push they need to follow suit. Serbia's interest in BRICS has been spearheaded by Aleksandar Vulin, a pro-Russian politician and head of Serbia's socialist movement. Lately, he caused ripples in Serbian political circles by submitting the proposal stating that Serbia should rather join BRICS than continue attempts to sign EU membership. Vulin isn't alone. Milorad Dodik, the president of Republika Srpska in Bosnia and Herzegovina, has expressed similar sentiments, advocating for Bosnia's inclusion in BRICS. Both Vulin and Dodik are known for their close ties to Russia, and both have faced sanctions from the US for their political stances. Their calls for BRICS membership align with their broader pro-Russian leanings. But this isn't just about a few politicians. A recent poll revealed that 46% of Serbians would prefer to join BRICS, while only 35% would choose EU membership. This suggests that a significant portion of the Serbian population sees value in aligning with BRICS, whether for economic, political, or cultural reasons. Here's where it gets interesting: sovereignty. The EU is usually criticized with the accusation that it appears certain countries are required to sacrifice portions of their sovereignty in order to join. The price to pay in order to join can be very high, be it seeking recognition for Kosovo, or adopting EU laws, or aligning foreign policies. On the other hand, BRICS isn't asking for political loyalty. Serbia would not be expected to choose between Brussels and Moscow. That's a huge advantage, especially in light of the Serbians' traditional connections with the Russians. In contrast to the EU, Russia has never made it a condition for developing relations with Serbia that it should stop relations with other countries. But why are Serbians so emotional about Kosovo? Kosovo, in the eyes of Serbians, is not merely a piece of land. It's part of their historical and cultural roots. For Serbians, independence of Kosovo means disloyalty to their past. Should Serbia relent, it would create a precedent. But if they change their loyalties to BRICS, then they are not willing to cede on this fundamental principle. The poll showing that 46% of Serbians favor BRICS membership highlights the deep divisions within Serbian society. Many Serbians still aspire to join the EU because of the economic opportunities it provides. Hundreds of thousands of Serbians have already migrated to EU countries, creating a strong diaspora that maintains economic and cultural ties to the West. At the same time, memories of NATO's 1999 bombing campaign and a shared Orthodox Christian heritage with Russia contribute to lingering skepticism about Western alliances. The Serbian Orthodox Church also plays a role, maintaining close ties with the Russian Orthodox Church and fostering cultural and religious connections between the two nations. If Serbia were to join BRICS, it would send a strong message to the EU and the West. It would signify that Serbia is not willing to put all its eggs in the EU basket and is instead exploring other global partnerships. In terms of economy, BRICS countries will aid the growth of investment and trade with nations like China and India. Politically, it would place Serbia in a closer vicinity with Russia and to Eastern nations. The Balkans have always been a political and diplomatic minefield, and Serbian interactions of the BRICS bloc has only made that more complicated. Pro-Russian politicians in Serbian borders, alongside Bosnia, have been on a campaign to move to the eastern side of international relations, while the Western nations, specifically the US and the EU, are trying to peddle Russian forces out of Serbia. Russia considers Serbia as one of its most crucial partners in the Balkans. It has always endorsed the stand Belgrade took concerning Kosovo. At this point, the Serbia of the future remains a mystery. For instance, is Serbia going to continue on the slow pace to intermingle with the EU bloc, or is it going to turn towards BRICS and align with Eastern powers? At present, President Vučić seems keen on pursuing the EU direction, but then again, the surge in interest in the new BRICS cannot be ignored as well. What is certain is that Serbia is at a turning point. Its choice will not only determine its own future, but will also have consequences on the geopolitical future of the entire region of the Balkans, and even further. Serbia's potential move to BRICS isn't just about frustration with the EU. It's part of a larger trend. Across Europe and Asia, more countries are recognizing the value of diversifying their alliances. The EU, once seen as the ultimate goal, is now being weighed against alternatives like BRICS. The European Union offers clear economic and political benefits: access to a single market, free trade agreements, and a strong common currency, the euro. In contrast, BRICS is still a loose coalition. It lacks the economic integration of the EU, has no common trade policies, and certainly doesn't offer a shared currency. Joining BRICS wouldn't bring Serbia the immediate economic advantages that EU membership promises. However, BRICS provides something that appeals to Serbia, an alternative to the Western-dominated world order. By joining BRICS, Serbia could strengthen its relationships with powerful countries like Russia, China, and India, while maintaining its independence from Western political pressures. If BRICS is good enough for powerhouses like China, Russia, and India, and even attracting interest from countries like Saudi Arabia and Turkey, why not Serbia? What do you think about this? Let us know in the comments section below, and make sure to like the video. Thanks for watching.